What's going on, producers? Let's talk about the #1 way and the easiest way to create super authentic, buttery, soulful, juicy neo-soul chord progressions. The secret is really simple, and here's what it is. Move the same chord quality around different keys. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, there's two main chord qualities that we want to think of when we're trying to do this, and that is major chords and minor chords. So with our minor chords, we don't want to use just regular old, 3-note minor chords. We don't want to just use triads, because this is not what the genre uses. The genre uses minor 7, the genre uses minor 9, and the genre uses minor 11. So we want to take these chords, and let's say we have, our minor chord right here. We want to add the 7, we want to add the 9, and we want to add the 11. And you notice these chords right here, and I'm just going to change the voicing on that just a little bit. And you notice these chords right here, they just have a different flavor to them than just a regular old minor chord. So what we can do is we can pick one of these, and we can also interchange between them just a little bit, but we want to play the same thing in different keys. So to keep it super simple, we can actually just take the same exact voicing and move it from one key to the other. So let's keep it simple for now, and let's pick the minor 9 chord, and let's just play it in root position. We're not gonna do anything fancy with the inversions or the voicing, so let's just keep it in root position. So 1, 5, 3, 5, 7, 9, okay? Now, how I took this around in the intro was I played it in C, I moved the same exact voicing up to E flat, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Then I moved it down a half step, and then I moved it up to F minor, right? So when we put some rhythm to that, right? Like even just that sounds pretty dope, right? Sounds cool. But imagine even if it was like, even if we were to make some lo-fi and just sit on those chords for a little bit. So on and so forth, you can catch the vibes. Now, one of my favorite chords is the minor 11 chord. And the minor 11 chord is super, super neo-soul. So if we were to take that same exact example and just put the 11 on top, here's how we started. Let's just take the 11, put it on top, okay? So let's try this. Hey. That sounds kind of cool. Now, you'll notice that sounds really angular and blocky. So we want to be comfortable with our inversions so that we can actually play this with a little bit more smoothness and grace. And so this is how I played it the first time. I actually started with just a minor 9 sound. We can totally swap between these, by the way. Not every chord needs to be a minor 11. Not every chord needs to be a minor 7 or a minor 9. We can swap between them just using our ear to pick what sounds good or what sounds better to us. So I started with a minor 9. Then I came over here to a minor 11. Then I dropped that down a half step, but I wanted the melody to come up, so I played this minor 11 like this, and then this one, minor 11, and I played it with this specific voicing. So we have this. Right? Or maybe, just depending on what I like better, maybe what happens in the moment. Now, if you want to get hip to inversions like that and be able to play them really, really easily, that's a little bit beyond the scope of this video, but that's exactly what I talk about inside my Piano for Producers community. I have a very simple methodology that consists of literally just 4-note shapes as I've been playing here that you play in this hand to accomplish these voicings. You see how you can hear the sound of that harmony by just playing these 4-note shapes? You take these 4-note shapes, you put them over bass notes, and it unlocks these minor 11 voicings, all of these really, really soulful sounds in a way that doesn't wreck your brain over the music theory. And it also takes care of the voice leading and those slick inversions that you hear cats do all the time. If you want more information on that, go ahead and click the link below so you can learn more about the Piano for Producers community, you can learn more about the grip system, and you can get personalized coaching from me inside the community. Now back to these neo-soul secrets. So that's how it sounds with minor chords. Now let's talk about what it looks like and sounds like with major chords. So for major chords, here are the major chords we're going to be using. Again, we don't want to use just triads, because you see that doesn't sound neo-soul. That sounds really pop. That even almost sounds classical, right? But the minute that we add just a 7, we get a smoother vibe. Then when we add the 9 in there, ooh, we get something that's really, really nice. And then we can even add the 6. And that really, really fills it up. So we have major 7 chords, major 9 chords, and major 6/9 chords, otherwise known as the 13. So we can do literally the same thing that we did with minor chords. We could just take the same voicing and move it around different keys. So let's see what it would sound like if I did those same bass notes, right? C, E flat, D, and F, but using major chords instead. That's really beautiful. Let's hang on to those a little bit more, right? So maybe we could say like, that's really, really nice. And again, we can keep it super simple, and I was playing very thick voicings there, but we could just keep the regular major 9 voicing, or hey, maybe even just major 7, and go. That sounds really beautiful. Let's add a 9 to that. You see, even just playing in a root position like that has some sauce to it. So notice how just by playing the same exact quality, 4 major 7 chords, or maybe 3 major 7 chords, right? Or 4 minor chords, as long as it sounds musical, it's gonna sound really, really cool. And this is kind of what people call modal harmony, because major is a mode, right? Major, it sounds happy, it sounds romantic. So if I just keep playing a bunch of happy chords together, it's gonna sound really cool. And same thing with minor, right? Minor is kind of a mode, like especially with minor 9, it sounds dark and dreary. Minor 11 sounds a little bit more dreamy, but it's still like on the darker side, right? So if I play just a bunch of those together, right? You're gonna get that neo-soul vibe, and you're gonna find some cool ideas. Now I know you're probably thinking right now, Bruce, okay, that sounds really cool, but how do I know which note to go to? Like, let's say I start with C minor 9, do I just pick anyone at random? Well, yes, absolutely you can, but there are a couple ways that you can go about it that makes it make sense a little bit more than just picking chords at random. So let's talk about a couple common ways that you can make it make sense. Number one way that we can make it make sense is by going down in whole steps. And we hear this in a lot of different songs. And so what do I mean by down in whole step? Well, first of all, what's a whole step? Well, a whole step is just 2 half steps put together. So if I play C, right, and I go down 2 notes, 1, 2, this is a whole step. So B flat is a whole step down from C. Very easy, right? So if I have this B flat and I want to go down a whole step, I'll just go down 2 half steps. 1, 2, A flat. So if I move down in whole steps, I have C, B flat, A flat. If I continue this cycle, here's what I get. And I'm back to where I started. That's just going down in whole steps, right? Now this doesn't sound good, but I'm just doing it to highlight the keys. And it's the same thing if I start from C sharp, right? If I go down in whole steps, here's what I get. And so here are those notes. And just by doing those 2 combinations of going down on whole steps, and also, I've now played them in every single key. So that's actually a really good way to practice it. Little side note. So what I can do is I can take the entire chord and move it down in whole steps. So let's do a C minor 9, just to use that one as an example. I can take this, B flat, A flat. See how cool that sounds? Just repeat that. Sounds kind of cool, right? We're starting to get a little bit somewhere, and that's just playing in a root position. And again, I'm not doing any inversions, I'm not doing lush voicings. We're already starting to get somewhere. So when we start dressing it up a little bit more, we start to get some really, really nice sounds. So let's say we say, starting to get a little somewhere with that. Now, we don't want to just keep moving in whole steps forever because it's not going to really sound like music. So I'll talk about exactly how we can do that in a second, but that's what's going to get us started. Number 2 is up and down in minor thirds. What the heck is a minor third? Well, the same way that we found out that a whole step is moving down by 2 half steps, or you can also move up, right? And so D is a whole step up from C. We'll just move by 1 more step. So a minor third is just 3 half steps. So if I'm starting here on C and I go up 3 notes, I get to E flat. So here is a minor third, and we can even see that this populates as a minor third. And so I actually made use of this one in the intro, because notice the first thing I played was C minor, and the next thing I played was E flat, right? And so that just sounds really, really cool. Like there's a vibe to that minor third that just sounds awesome. And if I went up another minor third, which we have this E flat, if I go up 3 half steps, we get F sharp or G flat, right? So what if I did C, E flat, G flat, and I played these the same kind of and again, I can kind of mess with like the voicings I'm playing. That one actually sounded really cool, right? Because listen for the melody right here. The melody note, right? That little half step right there sounds so sick, dude. Right? Finding those smooth pathways. That's why inversions are so important. So minor thirds is a really good one. You could go up, you can go down. Really, really nice sound. Here's another one. We can go up and fourths, and this one is incredibly common. So for example, let's say I have this C minor 11 here, okay? And if I go up by 4 notes, if I take that scale and I go to the 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4, get to the 4th, right? And just keeping it highlighted so you can see, but 2, 3, 4. Right? If I played those together, so C minor 11, F minor 11, sounds really cool. Let me find an inversion that sounds maybe a little nicer. Or maybe I can start on the F and then go down to the C. So maybe like, it's like some Rick Ross joint, like. Right? Some cool stuff there. So fourths is always a really, really good trick. And you could keep going around too. You know, if I did this C, right? And then I played this F, I can bring it then to B flat. The check kind of changes on me somewhere, right? E flat. Those can be good together, right? I just kept moving up and forth. C, F, B flat, E flat. The circle of fourths, right? So see, that sounds cool. I'm just making this stuff up using these protocols that I'm showing you here, and it just sounds dope. And here's another really cool move, is to approach your target chord from a half step above. And this one, you can hang on it. You know, it's also really cool just as a quick passing chord. So let's take the same idea we were talking about before, this F minor, going down to the C, right? That sounds really nice. Now, if C is my target chord, I know I'm gonna, right? I know I'm gonna land there in the C. What I can do is I can go a half step up and play that minor 9 chord and kind of drop into it. You see, even doing just that. Right? But let's say I'm coming from the F. You see how it just gives you like a pathway into this C minor. And last but not least, break the cycle. So much as we were saying, you know, you don't want to just move down in whole steps forever. You don't want to move up in minor thirds forever. You don't want to just keep going around the circle of fourths, because then the music is going to sound ever evolving and it's not going to sound like a cohesive idea. You know, you want to move down 3 times, 2 times, and then break the cycle and go somewhere else. So let's look at how I did that for the intro. I first decided to move in minor thirds, taking C to E flat, and then I went down a half step. And that breaks the cycle, that breaks the monotony a little bit. Like we can hear that it moves down. And so by moving down, it breaks the cycle and it brings some interest. And then I decided to repeat that minor third again. So D to F, here's a minor third. 1, 2, 3, right? So we have 2 minor thirds in a row. And then, right? Gives you a cool sound. So that's using the minor thirds. Now let's change it up. Let's play some major chords and let's see how we can break the cycle with whole steps, right? So let's say I do this whole step here. Let's say I play C major 7 and then I go down to B flat major 7. And then let's say I just pick randomly G major 7 and then go down to F. That sounds kind of cool, right? I literally just picked that at random. I didn't know how that was going to sound at all. Hey! Break the cycle. Didn't like that one? I'm actually going to move down a whole step for that idea. One more time. One more time. All right, here we go. Down another whole step. You see? This sounds super cool. And actually, that when I landed on the E flat, that was just moving down a whole step. I tried to break the cycle, but I didn't like it. So we have G, down a whole step to F. Look at my bass note, right? Down a whole step to E flat. 3 whole steps in a row. Sounds so beautiful. You see, just using this stuff, even just being random with it, you can find some really cool ideas. Again, if you want to learn some more NeoSoul secrets and a step-by-step guide to start playing the way you've always wanted to, go ahead and check out the free goodies below. Check out the Piano for Producers community below, and I will see you in the next video. This is Bruce Beats. Peace.